The million-dollar question: how do you study auditing? How should you study auditing? When you are dealing with auditing, one of the chief things you've got to remember is that application is absolutely vital. You're going to be required to apply what you know. You do need to know the fundamental theory, but that's not going to be enough to get you through. One, there's so much theory, you cannot necessarily remember everything. And two, it doesn't matter how much theory you know, it is the application that's important, how you use that theory, which is also why we say it is so important that you study by doing questions. It's so important that you understand the frame in which that theory is going to be asked. You're not going to be asked, define this, or state that, or repeat the theory. You're going to be asked, how do we use that theory? Is the company okay by doing this? What should they be doing here? And then you can't just say the theory says ABC. You're going to have to apply it, okay? When I do this, or when we do this, I always talk about this as building a house. It's a very silly example, but it illustrates the type of thing that I'm saying. Make sure that your knowledge has a home, otherwise it's going to get lost. So I kind of talk about it as orphan information. If you just throw knowledge and you just throw theory at your brain without your brain understanding why it needs it, then all you're doing is you're throwing orphan information in there and your brain doesn't know what to do with it. So we build a little home for our information. That means you create a knowledge gap. What am I studying? Why am I studying this? What is this supposed to be doing? What am I going to do with this information? What is the objective of this information? And that way, when you put the information in, it has a home, right? It has a little space, and then it understands this is where it goes. So building a house, again, very silly example, but we get it, right? Let's assume you've never seen a house before. You don't understand houses, furniture, fittings, whatever the case is, you've never seen it before. If I said to you, you have to learn about the fittings and furnishing that belong in a house, there's two ways you could do this, right? I could say to you, and forgive my drawings is terrible, I could say to you, that's a chair, check my awesome little chair, and that's a table, and this is a bed. This is what a bed looks like. We've got little pillows and a little headboard. My drawings are fantastic. That's a bed. This is a stove. Check how awesome my stove is. That's my little stove. And this is a bath. I have a very cool bath. Okay, and my little taps. So this is your furniture and fittings, right? If you've never seen a house before, what I would have to say to you, I would have to say, this is a stove, and I'd have to tell you this is the purpose of a stove, this is what it does, and this is where it goes in the house. The stove belongs in the kitchen. Then I'd have to say, this is a bed, this is the purpose of a bed, and this is where it goes in the house. This is a chair. I think you get the point, right? In your mind, you have these lists of information, and you say, this is what this is where it goes, this is what the purpose is, this is what it, that's a lot of information. If I just give that to you, okay, on its own, you're going to battle to keep all of that in your mind until your exam comes. However, if I say to you, this is a house, okay, beautiful house, you can see why I never studied art. This is a house, okay. If I explain to you the purpose of a house and then I break it down and I say, here's the plan of the house. This is a kitchen. This is the purpose of the kitchen. This is the types of things you'll be doing in the kitchen. This is a bedroom. This is the type of things that you'll be doing in a bedroom. This is the purpose of the bedroom. This is the bathroom. And you can understand this is the lounge. This is the purpose of each of these rooms. And this is what the house is supposed to achieve. When I then say to you, all right, here is a stove. This is what the purpose of the stove is. You will immediately understand if a stove is going to do that, where would that go? Oh, hold on, that belongs in the kitchen. A stove is to heat food up and to cook food. What does that match? Oh, that matches the purpose of a kitchen, which is where food preparation takes place. When I say to you, this is a bed, you'll go, wait a minute, what is a bed for? It's for you to sleep, relax, lie down, whatever the case is. Hold on, that follows the purpose of a bedroom. You will then be able to put the furniture into the rooms that it belongs in on your own. You wouldn't put the stove in the bedroom because you understand that the purpose of the bedroom is to sleep and relax, and the stove, the purpose of that is to heat up food. for you to eat, which doesn't match the purpose of the bedroom. My point then is that when you understand the purpose and the structure of the house, it's going to be a lot easier for you to fit in the furniture, the fittings, the details, the accessories, the ornaments, whatever it is, into that particular structure. And that's what I'm trying to do for you. I'm trying to build the house for you first, so that when I give you the small bits of details, they will stay. They'll find an anchor in there, and when you're dealing with it, each of them are going to be sitting, all the knowledge sits where it belongs, and it has a home, it has a structure. You might temporarily forget about the table, but when I talk to you about the lounge, and when you're thinking about the lounge or you're thinking about the dining room, when you create that trigger, it's going to come back to you, and you will understand why you need a table rather than having to remember, I must have a chair, I must have a table. Because what do we do as students? We go, okay, these are all the things I must remember. S is for stove, C is for chair, T is for table, B is for bed, right? This looks familiar, doesn't it? And you go into exam going SCTB, SCTB. What is it? S is for stove, C is for chair, T is for table, B. Oh crap, what was B for again? That's what we do in an exam, right? But it doesn't tell you what you're going to do with it. In an exam, I'm going to say to you, you're building a house. Tell me the stuff that belongs in the bedroom. Tell me how you would improve the bedroom. Then SCTB is not going to help you, because you're going to go, well, I know that there's stove, table, chair, bed, but what goes in the bedroom? I don't understand. So my intention here is to build your knowledge home. Okay, make sure that you build a home, and from there, when we put the details in, it's going to stay there. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say build a house. In terms of your study methods, guys, you cannot avoid this. Auditing is about communication. It is about getting your point across to the examiner, to your clients. You cannot get away from this. I know students say to me, Yvonne, I didn't sign up to study English. I know that, I understand that. But as part of your professional skills, you have to learn to communicate. When your clients come to you and ask you for information and ask you for help, it doesn't help that you give them a calculation. They want to explain. When your client sits and says, I'm paying you 1,000 Rand an hour, please can you help me with my business? You're going to have to be able to communicate to them how to improve their business, what they need to do, what they need to give you. Your communication is important. It's not because your examiners are trying to make your life a misery. It's because as a professional, you have to have the ability to communicate to people what you need to do, what information you need from them, what they want, what they need from you, the assistance, the advice, etc. Guys, write it out. When you are studying auditing, you cannot look at a question and say, oh, I know the answer to that. That's what we call the OER method, right? We know that. You've got to write it out. Why? Because you've got to practice your communication, especially if you do not speak English as your first language. It is crucial that you write the stuff out. In your head, it all makes sense, but in your head, it's everywhere. When you have to write it out, it means that you've got to structure your thought in such a way that you get all of that information. It's almost like it's sitting on a tree. There's a little there, there's a little there, there's a little there, but you only have one pen and one word after each other. You've got to take this from there, that from there, that from there, and it's all got to come out in one sentence. And that takes time, right? You've got to turn your thoughts and your knowledge into a coherent sentence, and you want to keep it brief. You don't waffle. Okay, you get 1.5 marks for every point that you write, depending on how theoretical or application based it is. And that means you cannot be sitting writing 5-6 lines of information and it's only going to give you 1 mark. In that case, we want to make sure that you can get your point across in 2 lines, because that's going to save you time. If you write half a page and it's only worth a mark, grief, you've saved an enormous, or you've spent and you've wasted an enormous amount of time. So in terms of your study methods, when you're looking at studying auditing, guys, application-based. I know, and I'm going to refer to this type of thing quite often, build a house for your knowledge. Start with every topic. Understand why you're doing this, what this means to you as an auditor. Why would you be doing this? Where does this go? So that you can drill down into the detail. Don't start with the detail first. When students are studying auditing, they're desperate to get to the theory. So they'll start studying the chapters, but they don't know why they're doing it. They don't understand, which means they're going to lose it. It is not medium and long-term knowledge. Understand why you're looking at the information first. Then, when I give you the detail, it makes sense and your brain is going to grasp it better.